Welcome back to First Take. The Dallas Cowboys have concerns after Odell Beckham Jr.'s physical that his recovery from a torn left ACL in the Super Bowl has not progressed enough to ensure he would play before mid-January. A source telling our Ed Warder there is a possibility that signing Beckham, who closed out his two-day visit with the Cowboys on Tuesday, would have no benefit until the 2023 season. The source added, no words yet from OBJ, but he did tweet this yesterday. Just a chess piece, or is it a pawn? Dan Orlovsky with us now. Hey, Dan, good morning.
Good morning. What's going on?
What's going on, big boy? How you doing, man?
I'm great, bud. How's LA? Warm?
It's cool. It's cool. It's not that warm. It's not that warm. A little brisk.
It's kind of the same as New York, to be honest with you.
Little brisk and relatively gray skies, but it's okay. It's all right.
All right. Great to have you with us, Dan.
I'm not feeling that haircut at all, but I'll leave it alone today.
My haircut looks amazing.
I said the haircut, no.
What?
I can barely see it.
My guy Sean cleaned it up nice.
Elvis Presley is dead.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Elvis Presley is dead.
That haircut looks good.
Okay. All right.
Dan, you look great. All right. Stephen A.
I won't ask him about his left eye. It looked like somebody hit him in the eye, but we'll leave that alone for another day. Let's go.
Gosh, nothing gets past you.
Nothing gets past me.
How can you see my eye that well?
That's right.
You're like the mean girl in school.
We're here to persevere. We persevere.
Have you ever seen that movie, Mean Girls? You need to watch that with your daughters. Yes.
They already made me watch
That's you, the bully.
Yes.
Stephen A., should OBJ be mad about his medical information being leaked? Because that's a huge violation.
I personally believe so. It's kind of predictable. The fact of the matter is that if you're Odell Beckham Jr., the only thing that I would get on him about is why are you acting surprised? This is what teams do. The reality of the situation is that you're looking for a job. To be an extraordinary talent, which you are, when healthy, if you can get you at a cheaper price because your leverage has been compromised, then that's something that somebody is going to do. That's called business. It's unfortunate, but it happens literally all the time. And unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to navigate your way around that. Having said all of that, it is a good point to be made. He is right about that because the reality of the situation is that his medical situation had no business of being released. I don't know who did it. I'm not accusing anybody specifically, even though his latest visit was with the Cowboys. ESPN, Ed Warder, what does it say at the bottom? It says, Cowboys source told him team is concerned about Beckham Jr.'s physical, Ed Warder is one of the elite insiders, particularly when it comes to the Cowboys. Yeah. And so he would know. Odell Beckham Jr. is a big boy. He's been around long enough to know that when you're an insider, you're going to get intel that most people in the public do not get, okay? I've been, long before I was on First Take, I was an insider for years, and I religiously got information that the average person couldn't get. This is what comes with the territory. But still in all, it doesn't make it right. And when you're trying to get another job, you're trying to be employed, you're trying to, land in the right team and what have you, it's kind of shady that this was leaked, but very, very predictable. And not to throw in, I'm not going to throw any shades on the Cowboys in this regard. Any team would have done that. Any team would have leaked the information from the standpoint of, okay, we're not satisfied physically. We got questions about his physicality. And even Jerry Jones walked in before he saw before he saw Odell Beckham Jr., lamenting, or rather expressing concern and apprehension about the state of affairs as it pertained to his health. So all of those things obviously may serve to compromise Odell Beckham Jr. I don't blame him for not being happy about it, but don't act like it's a particular team. It's the Cowboys. Any National Football League team who has somebody covering them and there's an insider associated with the team, that information is going to get leaked. You can book it.
Dan, give us the former player's perspective here.
If it's true, I don't understand the issue. If the medical doctors in Dallas, their doctors and/or staff have said that they're not confident in his knee right now, I don't understand the issue or what there is to be mad about it. Number one, the guy tore his ACL 10 months ago. A lot of people have talked about like he tore his ACL 2 years ago. It's 10 months since this happened. So it's the least shocking thing that there still might be some concerns over it. The reason why I say, if it's true, it's not an issue is this, and it's directly correlated to the Cowboys, because to my knowledge, no one said anything when he went to his visit with the Giants and or the Bills. If they're the Cowboys, the reality would be this. If you don't sign Odell, the public, Stephen A., is going to want to know why. Why didn't you get the deal done? What are you waiting on? Why did this happen? And the reality is the Cowboys might feel that the knee is not healthy enough. So it's totally in their right to sit here and say, well, we aren't comfortable with where his knee is when it comes to his production or his ability to produce this year. And the second thing would be this. Jerry Jones has come out and said publicly, like, this is the year. We're going to do everything we can. No stone unturned. We got to go get it done this year. So if the knee is healthy or the Cowboys perceive it to be, then I find no reason why that they wouldn't sign Odell. The price point can't be an outrageous price point right now. He's 10 months removed from ACL surgery. So if the news of his knee not being completely healthy or 100% is true, one, it's not shocking because it happened 10 months ago. And two, then I don't see an issue with the Cowboys communicating that while we want him, he's not physically where we had hoped he would be or want him to be.
I'm going to push back on that just a touch with you on a serious note with this, Dan. You know all things are not equal. All things are not the same. One, he might deem himself healthy enough to be a contributor and a participant on the team in the weeks to come. Maybe not today, but we've got 5 weeks left to go in the season, and then you've got the playoffs. And so because of that, you're talking about anywhere from 6 to 7 weeks, which is close to 2 months that he would have to be ready. He might believe he's ready to go. Some teams might say yes. Other teams might say no.
Sure.
And so in that regard, that's where I think he has a legitimate pushback. What one team laments, another team might say, we're cool with that. We don't think it's that big of a deal. We think it's doable. We think it can work. And he may think it can work. So when you express apprehension or reticence, and as a result, use that and deem that as a cause to pause and maybe not bring him on board your team, and then that's the information that gets out, it does raise the proverbial eyebrow and basically forces another team to say, okay, maybe there is some reason to be concerned here. Maybe we should think about this, give it a second thought or what have you. Whereas they might have been a little bit more positive than normal. Now that's not the case. That's the kind of thing that has happened to athletes in the past. I know it because I've covered situations as a reporter when that has happened to athletes in the past. I'm not saying you're wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I'm simply saying that unless it's a devastating injury and it's obvious, the fact of the matter is all medical professionals aren't deemed the same. What one deems, unworkable, the other might deem workable.
Yeah, and those are fair points. I think the two things would be, I would imagine every doctor for a team has gone into this physical with Odell somewhat hesitant. I don't want to say skeptical or hesitant, but just very aware of the time frame and understanding the last thing you want to do is force someone onto the field so quickly after the surgery to just get him onto the field this year. And so I'm sure that every doctor has gone into this situation saying he's got his knee and the health of it, not only right now, but where we projected to be in 6 weeks has got to blow us out of the water for us to feel pretty good about this, at least for this year, indifferent of 2023. And the reality, Stephen A., like, if there's teams, again, the Giants and or Buffalo, if their doctors are thinking one thing and then the Cowboys say one thing and it's forcing them to rethink their own thoughts, then those organizations got to address their own issues when it comes to who they're deciding to hire and or put in those roles. So, listen, I hope Odell's healthy. I've been outspoken that I think the Bills, if they can clear him medical-wise, especially with the Vaughn injury now, should go after him. But that's only if you think he's going to be not only healthy enough to play in mid-January, week 1 of the playoffs by January 15th, but able to get on the field and practice with your quarterback so he's comfortable enough to have him in the games.
All right, we're up against